Welcome everyone to our webinar series, Decipher the Dating Code, Solving the Mysteries of Dating and Relationship in the 21st Century. My name is Dr. Dan Amzalag, and I'm your moderator for today's workshop. So here's a quick bit about myself. I'm a cognitive behavior psychotherapist and marriage and relationship coach, passionate about helping people build healthy and long-lasting relationships. Now, these workshop series explore the many challenges of modern dating, from online interaction and communication struggles to emotional availability and genuine connection. Our goal here is to help you navigate towards complex dating scene with clarity, confidence, and purpose. So joining me today at this workshop is our expert panelist, Reverend David Anderson, a pre- and post-marital coach helping countless couples prepare for marriage. He is also a host of the Wedding Chaplain podcast and authored books related to marriage ministries. He is also very passionate about helping couples build strong and long-lasting marriages. So before we begin today's workshop, I'll invite our guest panelist to briefly introduce himself, as no one else can do a better job. Mr. Anderson, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. My name is David Anderson. I am a local church pastor, but I lead a ministry called weddingchaplain.com. I have officiated over 1,800 weddings, so I spend a lot of time with couples and helping them go from dating to engagement to marriage. And taking that step from dating to engagement is a huge one. And so there's just a lot of questions, and trying to help people navigate the complicated culture is a big passion of mine. So thank you for having me today.
Absolutely, Mr. Reverend Anderson. We are definitely going to jump right now into the question and answer format. And, it's interesting that you are also a pre and post marriage, because before we jump directly to the question, how effective is it, David? And how many times have you seen in the past where when a couple come to you for premarital counseling, not post,
Mhm.
have they discovered that maybe they're not as compatible as they thought they were?
No, I would say, I mean, unfortunately, the folks who want premarital counseling, they know enough to want premarital counseling. It's the couples who I have to talk into premarital counseling are usually the ones that have challenges later. If you're just doing this for the event, like, hey, we have a wedding, we just want you to show up. We don't want to talk about anything else. Just show up for the event. Those are the ones that usually have problems. But I try to give it at least 2 sessions of premarital counseling to every couple, and it's even the ones who are convinced into it. They realize, hey, there's some issues here.
Mhm.
Um, every relationship should be examined. You should have someone outside. Obviously, I like you, you like me. That's cool. To have a family member, to have some friends from the outside say, hey, you should look at this, or you should think about this, or I noticed this. And it's like we're scared. We're scared to have anybody on the outside
Yes, that's so true.
say anything. So they don't do it. It's like, no, it's really good. You should go to the doctor. You should go to the dentist. You should have premarital counseling. That's the
Yeah,
general rule.
that's
So,
actually a good point, David. But then at the same time, if when it comes to the premarital counseling and people like getting to know each other, they get to know each other, but then they feel that there's still little things that they need to solve. Does that open their mind when it comes to determining um, if this person will eventually change? Because obviously, in the beginning, in the honeymoon stage, David, everyone is great with each other. Everyone
mhm.
respectful, everyone love each other and all that, but we still don't know if that person will have the tendency to change. And again, no one really knows. No one can predict the future. No one has a crystal ball. So is
Right.
there a specific strategy that you give to the couples who come to you in a premarital stage, and let them know about what signs to pay attention to when it comes to building a long-lasting relationship?
Absolutely. So there's two magic numbers that I kind of look for. The first is 2 years, and the second is 24 years old. So 2 years is, I want you to be in this relationship for 2 years at least. If you come to me, y'all been dating for 6 months and you want to get married, I'm like, oh, please, please, time out, time out. No, it takes you 2 years. For the first 6 months, you're perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm perfect. You're perfect. We're all amazing. After a year, you start to see some things. You're like, okay, and I still like you. I'm still interested. And after 2 years, I figured out who you are. 24 is usually the age now. It used to be super young. People would get married when they were like 18, 19, 20. Those are the highest divorce rates. So our divorce rate in this country is around 50%.
Okay.
But if you take out 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, if you take those numbers out, we have a great marriage rate. We have a very low divorce rate. It's the number of divorce decrees and the number of marriage certificates in a given year comes out to 50%, but it's usually the young marriages. And so by the time you're 24, you've figured out who you are.
Mhm.
You've done college, you've done the military, you've started working. If I start dating you when you're 20 and I'm 20, I don't know who I am. You don't know who you are. And so I'm looking to you to tell me who I am, and that's never good. So there's a reality like you can get married, but you can't rent a car in most states until you're 24.
That's
There's a reason for that. That the car companies know you're not ready. You're not ready. And so we want you to be 2 years and 24 years old. And it's at that point, the other thing that I sort of encourage people is unfortunately there's a wedding culture. Once you get engaged, it's now this event. You're now event planning. And that gets super difficult. So now I've asked you to marry me, and now we're in the app, and now we're planning things, and now we got to get the venue and all these things. And it's a machine. There's an industry that's trying to get money from you, which they all are.
yes, for sure.
If you get engaged and all of a sudden now for the next 8 months, you're not talking about your relationship, you're just talking about this event, you get sidetracked. And so I tell people, you have to prepare for marriage and you have to prepare for the wedding. I can't not make you do wedding planning. You got to do that, but you can't only do wedding planning. You have to do both. You have to be able to hold both of those in a balance
I see.
and make sure during engagement you're still dating. You're still getting to know each other. You're still asking questions, and perhaps you're asking hopefully harder questions than you did when you were dating. Now we're in serious stuff. Now we're talking about your family and finances and communication and all that. But you got to keep doing that. So many couples, they kind of shut off, go into event planning, and then this stuff shows up in their first year of marriage that they didn't talk about. And we haven't talked about this for 8, 9, 10, 11 months because we've been
Too
getting
focused.
the event ready.
That's so
Yeah.
true. But then again, when it comes to the most important topic, because one of the topic that we decide to talk about is breaking the cycle of choosing the wrong people, and especially those who are emotionally unavailable partners.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in your practice, David? Have you seen where people come to you in post-marriage counseling, where they come to you and you realize that this person is emotionally unavailable? The other party in question is complaining that they're not emotionally like discussing important topic. And what is your say on that? Do you feel that there's a way to turn around that situation, or this is a lost cause?
It's not necessarily a lost cause. I would wonder what you guys talked about when you were like, did it switch? And usually it doesn't switch. It's I see some things and I just ignore them.
Okay.
So if I'm dating, I meet a girl and we're dating, and we talk all the time, and we talk for a whole day, we talk all night, and then tomorrow we're talking, and then 3 years from now I start complaining because this girl won't stop talking. Well, look, she didn't lie to you. She told you who she was, I find this amazing guy. He's successful. He's an entrepreneur. He's making money. He has got opportunities. And then 3 years from now, he's never home. He doesn't, he's always busy. And like he didn't lie to you. Who he was 3 years ago is who he is now. And so we tend to get annoyed at the things that we saw as positives when I met you. Now they're annoying. If you're the entrepreneur and you're busy 20 hours a day, and now I want you to stop when we're married, it's like, no, they are who they are. if I met you at a sporting event, but then I get mad because all you watch is sporting events, okay, that's who I was. So you have to be able to have other people look at your relationship. And so unfortunately, our dating culture sort of puts us in this cycle. Like, we like the dating culture, and we should be dating for a purpose. Like, we should be dating to find a partner. We should be dating to find a mate.
Correct.
Our culture has turned it into this weird thing. No, that you should like the dating culture is hot, the dating culture is cold, there's nobody out there, and there's all this thing. And it's it's like, I want to enjoy the dating culture, but I don't want to get out of the dating culture. Because if you get out of it, then people start talking weird, like, oh, it's time for you to settle down, or it's, I guess it's time for you to get off the ride or whatever. It's like, no, you want to get off the ride, not in a hurry, but I always tell people you should date on purpose,
Mhm.
for a purpose, with a purpose. This should be going somewhere. It's not, I'm attracted to you, let's see if this works. And you should say, hey, no, I want to know where you're going in life. And that should be an early question, not a late question. Um, but the folks who show up unavailable, that doesn't happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. You probably saw it in the beginning. And if you rewind it and you go back to what people were probably telling you, hey, there's probably some, like, are you sure you really like this guy? Are you sure this girl's really into you? They're just not, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, but then
And
again,
so,
well, sorry to interject or interrupt you, is that unfortunately we're not equipped with a crystal ball to be able to
no.
that person is going to change or if that person is going to be different from who they were in the beginning. Because as you know, and I'm sure that you've heard this one, the person that you marry is never the same person that you divorce.
No, no,
So in a
no.
way, it's kind of like we will always be different people, or is it considered this as the red flag, recognizing a red flag based on who they were when you first met them? As you mentioned, the example of an entrepreneur. And in the beginning, they were with you because obviously, they want to build a relationship. But then again, you see that how busy they become, and then it no longer serves your purpose. But that's gonna be for everyone. I mean, no one
Right.
person in the beginning of a relationship all through 20 or 30 years of a relationship. That's impossible to find.
Right. You need to be we're very complicated, but we're also kind of simple. I want to talk about your family of origin. I want to talk about where you came from. I want to meet your mom. I want to meet your dad. I want to meet your siblings. And that's going to tell me a lot. If I see your parents, if your parents aren't together, and I always tell people, like, a lot of times if you grew up in a divorced home, um, there's a tendency to very quickly say, oh, it was my dad's fault or it was my mom's fault. And that may be true. That may be true. It's very rarely just one person.
Correct.
And so I want to know, what was it with the two of them? Maybe one person made a huge mistake, but there were two people who made decisions all the way through. And so if you see two people and they fought all the time, you just have to know, like, I'm going to have a tendency to do that. I may not do it, but I'm going to have a tendency to repeat that. And so you can't be shocked at that. If I see two parents, they don't talk very much, they're quiet, they're passive, or one of them is passive and is not really interacting. The reality is, I'm going to have some of that. I'm going to pick up some of that. I'm going to carry some of that into a relationship. Because people say this all the time. Say, I'm not going to do it the way my parents did it.
Mhm.
Or they're going to say, I'm going to do it the way my parents did it.
Yes.
That is the only model. No one ever shows up and says, I'm going to do it the way my third grade teacher did it. No one cares. There's only one model. I'm either going to do it the way my parents did it, or I'm not going to do it the way my parents did it.
So true.
Because that model is so overbearing on all of us. And so if the parents get along, the parents are still romantic and they still chase each other around the kitchen, cool. Then you can sort of expect there's going to be at least a tendency for your partner to have some of that.
But then
If
again,
you're
do
if
you
they're distant and stuff, it's like, it's kind of a risk at that point.
yeah, but then again, when we look at our parents and grandparents, where in the past, you would admit to this as well, David, that when something was broken, they fixed it. Here, when something is broken
Right.
in a relationship, they replace it. So there's
Yes.
something right about the way that they conducted themselves in a relationship in the past, as with baby boomers and Generation X versus millennials and how things are going, where we became so dispensable as people in this society. When something doesn't meet our purpose or our needs, we immediately change it, just like an iPhone or changing an underwear.
Right.
We change people like that. So, and as the dating scene has become more and more, I would say, fluctuating in terms of
Hmm.
what is available, how people are becoming promiscuous, how people is just like a disposable society. We only look at people as object and not as human being. So is that going to change eventually where people are going to start realizing enough with this crap?
I think there is some frustration building. Like, and I think we went through a high divorce rate, and I think that's coming down a little bit out of people watching. It's not dispensable culture is very expensive. It is not just, oh, I'm going to divorce you and go find somebody else. No, I'm going to divorce you, lose half of my net
Myself,
worth, and then spend 5 years in counseling, and then I'll go find somebody else.
correct.
It's not as simple as a high school breakup. I think you need to have at least an idea of where you're going, your purpose. What is your purpose? I'm going to go into this career. I'm going to go into this field, and be very clear on that. If I date you to help me figure out where I'm going to go, then you're in trouble, because then I'm constantly sort of re-upping.
Yeah.
Okay. So I dated you because I thought you were going this way. You didn't end up going this way. So now I'm gonna move on to somebody else. That's a re-up society. That's like, hey, I need more features on the phone, like you said.
Mhm.
Um, the reality is you're compatible. I mean, I could take anybody. And we all believe in the soulmate, and that's a weird thing too. Oh, there's only one person out there for me. I'm made for one person. In reality, I could probably find about 10,000 people that are compatible with you. And that sounds weird. That's not romantic. No movie's ever going to do that one. But you know what? I could probably match you up with about 10,000 people, find some similar things, and you guys can work it out. If you're willing to work it out, if you're willing to figure it out. And that's where, again, the age thing and the year thing is important. You have to have at least a clear idea of who you are. If it's just about me, one of the things I want to see with couples is when you first start dating, we use the word I.
Mhm.
Okay. I like her. I think he is great. I can see myself with someone like you.
Mhm.
You want to see the I become a we. It moves. Okay. By the time we're engaged, I want to hear we. I want to hear we bought a house. We took this new job. We are moving to Texas. Now, why are you moving to Texas? I would have never moved to Texas, but now that I met you, and now that we're a we now have a purpose. We are moving to this place, or we are doing this. If you're still saying I when you're engaged or when you're married, especially, if I still hear a lot of I, you're in trouble. The death knell of all relationships is I'm not happy.
Mm.
I'm not
Mm.
happy. I'm
But
not happy. And it's your job to make me happy. It's a very consumer thing. Like this, like you said, the phone. This phone should work. All of these apps should work. I'm not happy with my phone. I need a new phone.
I see.
The person's not going to make you happy.
But then,
You have to be happy. You
but
have to be happy. And I
subject,
share my happiness with you.
yeah.
So,
But happiness is very subjective. You
oh
have to
yeah,
come within yourself first before having anyone coming into your life and sharing your happiness with them. Because if you expect the other person to be able to complete that side to be
right.
make you happier, then you're going at it completely wrong.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. If I need you to be happy, then I mean you've just started a codependent situation. You know that I love it when everyone. I mean, we're recording this on Sunday.
Yes.
Tomorrow, millions of people are going to get up and go to work.
Yes.
They're going to go to work, and they're going to go to work in most of them, hopefully, in their chosen field. Some people are going to go into a field that they've studied for, prepared for. Some of these fields make them a lot of money. And there's gonna be so many people like, I hate my job. I hate my work. I hate this. And like, you went to high school, you went to college, you studied this. This is what you wanted when you said, I wanted to be this when I grow up. And they're still miserable. The best day of your life is your first day on the job. And then after that, you just sort of get miserable because you think, oh, this is all I worked for. This is job's going to make me happy. It will not. You need to find happiness on your own and bring that to the job. I've been to happy doctors and I've been to not happy doctors. And it's not being a doctor that determines whether they're happy. I love people. I love taking care of people. I love medicine, that whole thing. Um, your relationship, I love being with you. I love being around you, but I'm also fine by myself. And when I'm with you, I love you and I enjoy you. When I'm not with you, I love you and enjoy you. And if
But
you
then,
can't find that, it's trouble because all you're going to be is doing, you're just going to be, this is where the purpose thing comes in. I want to make sure you both have you understand your purpose beside yourselves.
yes.
When we watch a movie, when we watch a romantic movie, a romantic comedy, any even a bad romantic comedy, we want to see the couple get together. That's magic. He asks her to coffee or they go on dinner or whatever. In the Bridgerton, can I court you in the spring or whatever they do? They bring the horse and carriage around or whatever. That's not the end of the movie. We want to see them get together and there's a problem they need to solve. There's some problem in every movie, whether it's an adventure movie, they gotta find the map, they gotta get the key, they gotta take care of the ex, they have to, my mom's dying, we've got to start the business, we have to save the Christmas tree farm, whatever it is, even a bad Hallmark movie, they have this whole thing. We want to see them get together, and our culture says the key is just getting together. Now, get together and then you do something. What are you doing together? Even if you're not in the same field. We work in totally different fields, but we donate our time on Saturdays to a Habitat house. We adopt kids. We go on trips to build wells. We help at our church, our synagogue. We do these things. We're involved in our community. We're doing something. We have a purpose beyond just being together. Because if you're just together, if the purpose is just being together, then you've got a very boring 40 years coming up. So we're like, well, maybe the purpose is to have kids. Okay. Then you're still like, you're just delaying that. When those kids talk back to you, you're going to really question your purpose in
I,
life.
I
My
agree.
purpose, I'm together with you to do something. And if you don't understand that, then yeah, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be quicksand moving forward.
But then again, David, let me ask you, because before someone can get into a relationship, they have to know their self-worth about being good on their own. They have to be happy being good on their own or living life on their own. But then again, there's a little paradox here because as people learn to live on their own for too long, they no longer can be able to be in a relationship or accept someone else to come into their lives. So
Right.
in that counterintuitive in some way where people when they say, you know what, before I could feel myself happy with someone, let me make myself happy on my own. But then again, when they feel that they're happy on their own, why would they welcome anyone in their lives?
Because I think we're made for relationships. I mean, that's my worldview. I think there are some very special people who can be single. Now, I don't think anybody on this show listening to the questions about dating are those special people. They wouldn't be caring. They would be doing something else on their day off. Um, there's there's usually for what folks are. I'm looking for my purpose, but I also know there's something missing. Every we love the buddy system. Okay. Back in the 80s, there used to be this this motif, this trope that was just repeated, the buddy cop movie. I loved them all. There was all of them. It was, like, just you had these two guys got together, or a guy and a dog, or whatever, two people, and that was sort of the fun. Was we don't get along, but we gotta work together because we got to take the mob down, or we gotta fight crime or whatever. And at the end of the movie, they come together, they win. And that's the whole point of it. I could have been a good cop on my own, but I got stuck with this partner. I didn't really want this partner, but we were able to do it. We are made for that. You can do a lot of stuff on your own, and there's a lot of successful people who have done things on their own. The joke for me is behind every good minister is a minister's wife shaking her head. And that's very true. That I cannot do a tenth of what I do without her. Um, and we're a team. We approach it as a team. Now, if I just come out and say, "Hey, I'm the greatest minister ever, and I did it all by myself," there's a lot of looks I'm going to get like, "All right, buddy, you really didn't do a whole lot of that on your own." We we understand the whole teamwork thing, the whole partner thing is important. I'm looking not for someone to make me happy. I'm looking for a partner.
Mhm.
And that's where dating kind of takes this interesting thing. Like, hey, I want to have fun. I want to take you on a trip. I want to go boating. I want to go to Top Golf. I want to go bowl, whatever you're doing, but I'm interviewing you in a weird way. Hey, tell me who you are. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your life. Where do you see yourself? And that's the old interview questions. Where you see yourself in 5 years? That's a great dating question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, it depends on whether we work out or not. That's a terrible answer. Like, I hope you have a plan
Yes.
whether we work out or not.
Uh-huh.
So I have things that I want to accomplish in my life, and I'm fully capable of doing that stuff by myself. The partner makes it all easier. It makes it all easier. And once I sort of realize that, I'm also of the mind that I am helping her become a better person as well. There's things that she needs me to help her with, not rescue, not like, she can't do it without me kind of thing. She's fine. But there becomes this story is way bigger than just the dating piece.
I see. I see. But then again, when it comes to and I've seen that before many times in the past, David, and I'm sure that you've as well. When clients or patients come to me and they always try to find excuses as why the other person behave a certain way,
Sure.
physical abuse or whatever it is. Oh, he had a bad day today, or he beat me because of this or because of that. So when it comes to understanding that things are not going to change until you change them, until you leave the relationship, until you address the problem, until you stop trying to find excuses for them, and so on. So those red flags are based on your past history, if it
Mhm.
was abusive or if it was normal relationship, because as you and I know, people who deal with toxic relationship have the tendency somehow or somewhere to be able to find someone else who is also toxic. It's like
Mhm.
they bounce from one toxicity to the other, and then they really never figure out that, oh, this is very damaging to them mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and they keep making the same mistake over and over again. So and no one is born a psychologist. No one is born to be able to see that something is off. They will always, especially if love is in the way, they will always gonna find excuses to the people that they love and find a way to be able to say, no, he did this because he had a bad day or because of this. So how can you let people know that you could do that maybe once, maybe twice, but three times is a strike?
We we are the common denominator in all of our relationships. And, I would not want to say that we're all toxic people, but we kind of are on a certain level. I have my own issues. There are certainly people that I do not gel with. Um, but we are the common denominator. If you have bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, you do not just say, well, I dated three weirdos. No, you're the weirdo. Like you are the common denominator in that. And you don't want to say anybody's a weirdo, but there's something that I'm doing. There's something that I'm doing. You know, if I want somebody who wants a family, but I keep dating these people who have bad family relationships on their own, or they keep saying, you know, I'm not really into having kids, but if you continue to date them, that's your choice. And so then, yes, I can predict for you in 6 months, you guys are going to have a huge argument about kids, about family. And again, they weren't necessarily lying to you unless they really did. Now, I have run into it, like the people who they say one thing and then literally like a switch, they just sort of shut it off and go in a different direction. Sometimes it happens, but you don't really bank on that. People usually are very honest, at least with their actions and their decisions. And so you just have to be very upfront with what exactly are you looking for? I want kids, but would you be okay with somebody who doesn't have kids? And you have to be honest with that. I want to live in this town, but if I find somebody that wants to move, am I okay with that? I kind of don't like military life, but if I find somebody who's a soldier, am I okay with that? Um, I like people with big families, but if I find someone who's an only child, am I okay with that? And you have to be honest with that and just sort of be upfront. And it's what I'm looking for when I'm dating can't be like you have to not be scared to say you're not my person.
Mhm.
I want so badly to have a person or have a date or to have this go well, or you're cute and I really am attracted to you. If you know that it's not a good thing right at the beginning, just save yourself some time. Save yourself some time. But I want you, I want you, I want you. No, that's just infatuation. That's just a quick emotional infatuation. And it's okay. Listen, there are plenty of wonderfully cute people in this world that I would be honored to have dinner with. Are they my partner? No. 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 No, but hey, that would that would have been a cool evening or whatnot. But you gotta be that's not my person. That is not my person.
But now let me ask you one question before we end this workshop. You just like brought up a very very good point. But by the topic of physical and sexual chemistry, and we see a lot of people. The first thing that they look at on dating apps, either Christian dating apps, whatever it is, or even like regular Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or whatever it is, they basically are attracted to their physical appearance, and
Mhm.
after that they get to know them and they decide if they will be attracted in their personality or with their personality. So we are a society of we base ourselves on what the eyes can see. Obviously, we see a lot of people who are misled and they put the wrong picture on their dating app or they being catfish. And then after that, when they see the real person, they kind of say, "Oh my God, you catfish me" or whatever it is. But they hope that this person will fall in love with their personality versus their physicality. So the question is that does that happen often where we see people changing from a priority of sexual chemistry to emotional chemistry?
Well, yes, I mean, all relationships start with you're hot or not. I mean, that's it. I mean, and so um I mean, there's very, very few people who are like, you know what? I didn't even see this person, but I knew how smart they were, and
Yes, correct.
no, there is a chemistry thing. I mean, when we first start dating, and this is why the 6 month piece is so important, we have a chemical. It's called oxytocin, and it dumps into our brain the moment we start building a relationship. That first, will you get coffee with me? And from there, for about 6 months, your brain is on this drug, and we don't hear anything, we don't see anything, we're just really infatuated. I love holding your hand, kissing you, intimacy, whatever all that is. After 6 months, that drug wears off. Now we're thankful for this drug, or there would be no humans because we would not be engaged in this thing. Okay. But after that, then you have to start saying, hey, how much, what else is there? Okay. Is there, is it a financial thing? Is it families? So that's why a lot of times people don't meet their families right away. Like if I first date and then all of a sudden you meet my family, that's a little weird nowadays.
Mhm.
Usually it takes about 2 or 3 months, or hey, I start dating you in August and then I'll take you home for Christmas or whatnot. Or at college, well, you could date for 3 or 4 months and not see anybody. You're just out on the quad every day.
Correct.
But after, what I'm hoping for is, yes, during that time, there's this high physical attraction. We're just cute together. We're just selfieing each other on Instagram all day long, and it's so cool. There has to be like, hey, what else is there?
Correct.
Like, what do you mean? I'm a Detroit fan. You didn't tell me you were a Yankees fan. Like, at least has to be something out there that says, "Hey, there's another layer. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your faith." And so that's why the college ones are always so weird. The college relationships are weird. Like, no one cares about your faith, your religion, your finances, your sports, anything. We're just seeing each other in the cafeteria every day. Like, go home, bring her to see your mom, go meet his dad, and then you start to say, hey, there's other things out there. And so yes, physical attraction, that's going to happen. Just recognize, do not make a decision until after 6 months at least. And
Absolutely.
you say, hey, once
Now,
this is worn off, I get to see clearly.
so before we end this workshop, I want everyone who's going to be listening to this workshop, where can they find you, David? I mean, in case they want premarital counseling or postmarital services, where can they find you?
Absolutely. The best place to find me is weddingchaplain.com. Chaplain is Chaplain. Chaplain is Charlie Chaplin. You go somewhere else. But weddingchaplain.com is where you find me. You can find all my resources, podcasts. I have a premarital book that's coming out later in 2026. So in a couple months, it'll be out, depending on when you're listening to this. It should be out in September of 2026. So all those resources there, would love to connect with you if I can help you in any way.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Mr. Anderson, for taking the time out of your relaxing Sunday afternoon, especially this Independence Day weekend, to join us and engage in these valuable tips and advice to share today. And we also look forward to our upcoming workshop throughout 2026, featuring new expert panelists and a wide range of engaging topics focused on dating and relationships. So again, Mr. Reverend, thank you so much. And we'd like to wish every one of you a wonderful rest of your Sunday afternoon. And we look forward to connecting with you all very soon. Signing up for now.